What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Movie X Kicks, and this is going to be the review of the Batman. Now, I just left from seeing Batman. Actually, yesterday I seen an early screening of it for influencers, so was glad to be a part of that list. Finally, to kind of getting my movie reviews on the rise, getting into that screening. I have to say, this was a different rendition of Batman, one that I have never really. I don't think of any of us has ever really seen. Um, I know a lot of people are going to compare this to the originals, the previous from Christopher Nolan to even the original Batman with Michael Keaton. This one sets aside differently than any other Batman before. Now, the Batman basically stars, as we know, Robert Pattinson as the Batman. In this rendition, he's 2 years into being Batman, and a serial killer has been let loose in the city, and Batman must come together to stop this new mastermind of a killer called the Riddler. In the midst of stopping the Riddler, he must team up with Jeffrey Wright's character James Gordon and Zoe Kravitz's Selena Kyle's Catwoman in order to bring this killer to justice. Now, that's just going to be a little brief summary that I'm going to give you guys because the movie does technically come out Friday. Now, like this is gonna be a non-spoiler review one, so I'm not gonna give away a lot of things in this movie, but I will say the thing that this movie did was it was probably one of the most, like I said, different Batmans I'd ever seen. To me, this one kind of got the true essence of the Batman character, the true essence of the detective. Now, and this movie spent more time as Robert Pattinson's character is playing as Batman than any other Batman I'd ever seen. You know, most times in most of the Batman movies, they go between Bruce Wayne and Batman, but this one was almost like 80-90% of him being in Batman, and half this movie was done at night, and the movie was dark in picture and dark in theme. I really like this twisted rendition of Matt Reeves' Batman. It really gave you shades of Zodiac Killer, bits of Saw, and the movie Seven. Like it was very dark in theme, and it was just sometimes like the brutality of this movie was almost like a horror movie in some aspects. It was just kind of like it started out just so like if this movie was rated R, I wouldn't have been surprised. It was rated PG-13, but they were on the edge of the PG-13 spectrum. Let me tell you, but I think this is one of those movies where everyone pulls their weight together. Everyone knew the assignment and they executed it perfectly. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, amazing. I mean, to me, and I love the fact that they got a black woman to play Catwoman because it reminds me of the time a lot of people won't remember, but Eartha Kitt was the original Catwoman in the early 19 Adam West Batmans, and so she reprised the role with a black woman, and she also does amazing in this job. And her chemistry, with Robert Pattinson, is just excellent. And Paul Denano, who played the Riddler, hands down, I'm gonna say this. A lot of people, this was probably one of the best villain performances I've seen since Heath Ledger's The Joker. Just and like the thing about it was it was a method to his madness. That's the thing that I loved about this movie. It really got in depth of why he was doing what he was doing, why he was this serial killer and leaving these clues for the Batman to find like breadcrumbs, and you got that real essence of kind of who the Riddler was instead of not like I love the Jim Carrey and I love the original from 1960s Riddler, and but you mind with the question marks all over. This one was more of a sadistic, and I like how they used the new age technology as far as like using social media and getting that hashtag going. Like this serial killer kind of embodied the new age of social media that he used it in the movie. So you'll see that once you see the movie. But I really like the aspect how they went to him and the acting job he did. There's a scene in the movie where him and Batman came across, and you just felt him. I was just like, wow, you just felt why he was doing what he was doing. And like I said, not gonna give it away exactly why he was doing what he was doing, but like I said, one of the best villains I've seen since the Joker. And also Colin Farrell, like as the Penguin, was I didn't you couldn't even recognize Colin Farrell. Like the makeup they did on him was just amazing, and like he had like a different penguin-ish like look to him. Like it wasn't like the Danny DeVito one with him eating fish and the clawed hands. Like he was his own version of the penguin. And also Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. You kind of feel for him because he's like this good cop in this bad city, and he kind of teams up with the Batman, teaming to kind of cleanse the city. And that was another aspect I liked about this movie is that Gotham City, it really shows the corruption that was in the city and that Batman's trying to save it. Like it was almost he was fighting a never-ending battle because if it wasn't a dirty cop, so the criminals. It was like everyone was like on the take, and he's like he could really trust no one but Gordon. Robert Pattinson actually did a rather decent job. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people put him in the Twilight category, like, oh, it's a kid from Twilight, such and such, but he did a really good job. Now, my only negative I will say about this movie is that one, the running time on this movie is long, but the storyline to me is so good that it allows this movie to be long and you not to really even pay attention to the long storyline. The long story time. And the other thing I really that's the one thing I would change about it would be the kind of running time. It would be good if they could have knocked off like 20, 30 minutes ish. It was some scenes I thought they could have cut out, wouldn't have been as long. I would have preferred more action myself, but I seen where Matt Reeves was going. He was going into the true essence of the Batman as him being a detective and him being the second year. You could see he's very unpolished. Like in some of the fight scenes, he's not like that he just destroys everyone. Like he gets his rapes, he gets his bumps and his bruises. Like he's got beat up. It's not like the Christopher Nolan Batman where he just like beating up everybody except Bane. Is that this is second year of the Batman, and he's very still kind of rusty, and a lot of people aren't in trust of him. Like the police really say he's like a freak. Like no one really entrusts the Batman just yet. So, but it's gonna be interesting to see where exactly Matt Reeves goes from here. Now, if you aren't familiar with Matt Reeves, he's one that Let Me In, also Cloverfield, and the last two Planet of the Apes. So I really loved his rendition and the darkness and the kind of brutality that he brought to this. It was, like I said, probably one of the most realistic and most different Batmans that you'll probably ever see. If I could rank this, like I said, out of 10, I would probably give this movie like a 9 out of 10. Like it was really good and it was different. Like I had to think about it for a day, but first I left saying it was okay, but then I was just like, damn, it kind of like checked almost all the boxes except for, like I said, I could have used a little bit more action, but that's just me. So but like I said, guys, if you guys like movie reviews, TV show reviews, think about subscribing to the channel. If you guys like what you saw, please give me a like. I highly appreciate that. Drop those comments. For those who have seen this movie, I know a lot of people have not seen this movie. What do you think of Matt Reeves' rendition of Batman, and what do you think of Robert Pattinson and everyone's characters that they played? Like I said, I thought everyone did an amazing job. But until next time, guys, Mr. Mix is out.